welcome to Kirkistown, Ireland for the latest meeting of the Libre Saloons. We've got 15 cars, mainly comprising of BMWs, 330s and M Sports. We've also got some Hondas in the mix as well. This is going to be fast.
Thanks very much, Anthony. Indeed, it is. Nice varied grid as well. It's Andrew Armstrong in his BMW that lines up alongside Ralph Jess on row 1, Martin Duffy and Tony Traub row 2, Richard O'Mahony and Donald O'Neill on the 3rd row, ahead of Stephen Traub and Francis Allen on row 4. Paul Sheridan and Greer Ray make up the 5th row of the grid, row 6 Dermot Nolan and Ray Orr, then Richard O'Mahony, Keith Ray and Neil White round out the field. Lots of BMWs at the front of the field, and it's 2 of them on the front row, Andrew Armstrong and Ralph Jess, ready to go racing for the first time. Over 20 minutes away we go. Not a good start made from the outside of the front row there by the yellow and black car of Andrew Armstrong, so as they make their way down through the first corner, it looks as though from the 2nd row of the grid it's Martin Duffy who's come through into the lead. Big lock up further back. There's the 159 car, the unique C46 of Francis Allen. We're on board with him as we make our way now down towards the right-hander at Fisherman's for the first time. We've got the Honda Integra in front of Tony Traub, and in front of him the SHP RT2000 of Richard O'Mahony, the orange machine, and into the right-hander entry to the John Crossley chicane, and diving up the inside. That's the other one of the SHPs. Car number 5 is Dermot Nolan, trying to get past one of the BMWs into the chicane. On the exit of the chicane he'll pull out to the outside and should be able to make that move stick at the end of the straight. So hard onto the brakes we go. Pole sitter Andrew Armstrong's recovered into 2nd place. 3rd there is Ralph Jess, but it is Martin Duffy in car number 10 who's going to lead the way at the end of the first lap of the race. Out across the start-finish line they go. The Honda Integra flashes through there of Tony Traub into turn 1. It looks at the moment as if Andrew Armstrong, despite the fact that he qualified on pole position, he didn't make the start, did he? He didn't get a good launch, and he's just, well, initially it looked like he was losing ground there to Martin Duffy, the race leader, but he's closed back in again on the way through Colonial, and in fact he's right within striking distance now as they hit the brakes into Fisherman's. Car number 10 there, the slightly older machine, of course, of Martin Duffy, less powerful, a bit less aerodynamic aid on the car as well. The bigger front wing and front splitter of Andrew Armstrong's car giving him more downforce, more grip through the high-speed corners, and perhaps the newer car with a bit more grunt in a straight line might be able to draw alongside. Yes, he can, down the back straight towards the hairpin. He's up the inside of Martin Duffy for the race lead, and I think he's going to go through. Late on the brakes. No, Duffy is late on the brakes. Very late on the brakes. Can he stop the car? Wide line taken by Armstrong in 2nd as he tries to get the switch back on the exit of the corner. Well, I expected Andrew Armstrong to go through there, to be perfectly honest, but Martin Duffy was having none of it and does seem to be getting a good exit from the hairpin as well, doesn't he? 4th place flashing through there. That's the orange car of Richard O'Mahony. Then it's Tony Traub in 5th, as here comes a potential move up the inside into Colonial, and this time I think that Armstrong is through. Yes, the yellow, black and red machine goes back in front and resumes the position he'll feel he should be in, having qualified on pole position. Now into the right-hander at Fisherman's and out onto the back straight. So it is Andrew Armstrong back in front, Martin Duffy in 2nd. Can Duffy go after him, or is he going to spend the rest of the race defending maybe from Ralph Jess in the silver car in 3rd? Back on board with Roy Orr here now. This is in the number 73 BMW, one of the 330i's running towards the back of the field. Identical cars driven by Greer Ray and Keith Ray as well, of course. They're the drivers that he'll be particularly keeping his eye on in this race. Through the chicane, hops over the curb on the inside. Try not to run too wide on the exit though, because you risk losing momentum, and if you drive out onto the green stuff then you'll be pinged for exceeding the track limits, which of course can lead to a tyre penalty if you keep on doing it. Down the back of the paddock on the right as the race leader makes his way through turn 1, and well, I think in answer to my question from a moment ago, Martin Duffy is going to have to start driving defensively, isn't he, because he's now under all sorts of pressure from Ralph Jess. There are the 4th and 5th place cars, and there the battle for 6th. Now that is the green Seat Cooper of Donald O'Neill, and he is racing with Francis Allen in his C46, the Seat Cooper, an ex-Seat Cooper Cup car from more than a decade ago now that these cars ran in the UK Championship, feeder series to the British Touring Car Championship. And that car now in the hands of Donald O'Neill, coming under a bit of pressure at the start of the lap from Francis Allen, but the light, nimble Seat does seem to have an edge through the technical part of the circuit, but Francis Allen, maybe with a bit more grunt, and had a good exit there from the chicane, might be able to close in on the run down the back straight. Nice onboard view here of that back straight here at Kirkistown. The grass bank to the left, all to protect you if you have a moment here. Hard onto the brakes, nice and early. Get these big heavy saloons stopped for the hairpin. Much earlier apex taken there by Francis Allen. And you can see that means he drifts a bit wider on the exit of the corner, whereas the little Seat of Donald O'Neill is much tighter on the exit and gets on the power a bit earlier. And so despite the fact that you'd expect the BMW to probably be a bit quicker in a straight line, it's actually the Seat that pulls away. So you can see there a much increased margin between the two of them. There was a lap ago. There is Dermot Nolan, and then the rest of the BMW start to stream through towards the tail end of the field. This is the closest battle, and this is number 2 machine of Greer Ray, trying to go around the outside of Roy Orr in his very similar BMW 330i. Out of Colonial through the kink to the left, and Ray looking to the outside line here. Now, that's not likely to work, but he might try and just cut back and get the late apex here on the exit of the corner. Can he do that? Earlier on the power, a bit of smoke there from the 13 machine in front of him. So that will focus the mind, won't it? Just in case of a bit of fluid being dropped from the Roy Orr car. And indeed, Greer Ray does get a better exit from the chicane. Don't think there is an issue with Roy Orr's car, but that will certainly be a worry to cars behind. Side by side, down the back straight we go. To the outside is Roy Orr, to the inside is Greer Ray, and who's going to come out of the hairpin in front? It's going to be Roy. On the outside line, but he runs very wide in his efforts to try and stay in front, maybe a bit too wide. And is Greer Ray going to be able to make the move stick now on the way down towards the end of the pit straight? Roy trying to fight back here, wheel to wheel down towards the first corner. It's a brave man who will keep his foot in around the outside, and I think that was exactly what we saw there. Discretion, the better part of valour for Greer Ray, and instead he lives to fight another day and attack at the next corner up the inside, and through he goes. These 330i's, cars that used to race in, or cars like these anyway, that used to race in the British touring cars. That was proper touring car racing, that wasn't it? Great wheel-to-wheel action for 2 or 3 corners in a row, but it's Greer that's gone through, and he'll now try and set off up the road after the cars in front if he can. Through the John Crossley chicane again. Using lots more curb there. You can see a much more aggressive line for Greer, and you can see the time it gained him on the way out of the chicane. So the next car he's chasing is Paul Sheridan. That is the lead of the 330i's. There are 4 of them in the race. Keith Ray is the other entrant in that type of car, a little bit further back, a bit further up. And this is the number 10 machine going slowly. So that is Martin Duffy, who was running in 2nd place. And well, he's already lost that 2nd place, hasn't he, to Ralph Jess. And now through also has gone the orange SHP of Richard O'Mahony, the Honda Integra of Tony Traub. So is there an issue here? Well, it looks almost certain that there's an issue for Martin Duffy. Is it terminal? That's the question. Is it going to bring him into the pit lane? I think it might do. As out onto the pit straight we go again. I saw another car ducking into the pit lane there as well. So have we just lost Ralph Jess from 2nd place? I wonder whether we have. There was a silver BMW that I just saw nipping out of line. And yes, Ralph Jess has come down the pit lane. So remarkably, this means that this is now in 2nd place Richard O'Mahony, and he's gifted a huge lead to Andrew Armstrong, who granted already was pulling out a decent lead. This now becomes the battle for 2nd between Richard O'Mahony in the orange machine and Tony Traub in his Honda Integra. And as they head out of Fisherman's down towards the John Crossley chicane, approaching half race distance now, just past half race distance, this is a very close battle for 2nd place, and it promotes all of the other cars behind up a couple of positions as well, because I can confirm that Martin Duffy also came into the pits, and we had a change behind, in fact, because Francis Allen, I can see in the background, has now been overhauled by the 2nd of the SHPs of Dermot Nolan. So Dermot is now the man chasing down the Seat Cupra in front of him of Donald O'Neill. Tony Traub there closing in definitely now on Richard O'Mahony as well. So a race that looked like it had settled down, at least at the front of the field, has now come alive, hasn't it, with a few drivers falling by the wayside and a few others being able to take advantage. There, back out of the pit lane, is Martin Duffy, but he's not in 2nd place anymore. He's a lap down, which is why he's likely going to move out of the way of O'Mahony, but he can't move out of the way through Colonial. That will hurt O'Mahony's run out of the corner and possibly allow Tony Traub the chance up the inside into Fisherman's. The chance wasn't there though. As they head out onto the short chute into the John Crossley chicane, it's status quo. amongst the two fighting for second. Back out they go. It looks as though whatever the issue is for Martin Duffy, it's not completely terminal. They're trying to work through it because, of course, they have a second race coming up later on today. Moving out of the way of them. They're one of the slower runners. That is the 31 car of Keith Ray in his 330i. He's going a lap down now to these two as well, and Tony Trout wasn't quite sure which way to go there, was he? Coming out of the hairpin, went to the outside in the end, which was the right way to go because Keith Ray was moving to the inside to try and get out of the way. Very difficult job though for the back markers when they've got much quicker cars coming through behind them, and they're often having their own race. In Keith's case there, he didn't have anyone else around him, so he could simply move out the way, slow down if he needed to, and allow the second place battle through. Lots of curb taken there for O'Mahony. I noticed that Richie was using plenty of curb through there earlier on in the race. It risks damaging the suspension, and of course it also risks unsettling the car to the degree that you might lose control, but he seems to have that car set up nicely for the bumps here in Kirkistown. Far from it's a flat track as far as undulations are concerned, but it's not smooth, is it? Lots of bumps and big curbs through places like Colonial and the chicane, enough to unsettle the car and potentially cause the drivers issues. Down into the hairpin again, hard on the brakes for Richie O'Mahony, and can the Integra maybe close in on the exit of the corner? Also now putting Keith Ray a lap down is Donald O'Neill in his Seat. Next in line, the number 5 car of Dermot Nolan. This, lest we forget about him, is Andrew Armstrong, who has dominated this race now, partly as a result of the cars behind him dropping out of contention, but he's also had the pace. He qualified on pole, and had it not been for that, the fact that he bogged down at the start, he more than likely would have led every lap. He's just putting a lap there on Greer Ray. Paul Sheridan still out in front in the unofficial BMW 330i class, but this stunning machine of Andrew Armstrong, fire-spitting BMW, heads across the start-finish line again. His 3.2 litre M3, it's exactly the same car as that of Richard O'Mahony. Not Richie O'Mahony, Richard O'Mahony that is. A bit further down the order, but Andrew Armstrong just seems to have this Kirkistown circuit well and truly sorted, doesn't he? He's continuing serenely on his way as he heads down into Fisherman's once again, into the closing stages of this race now, 5 minutes or so to go. And the driver of car number 66 doesn't look like being headed, barring any sort of mechanical dramas. So through the chicane, through the right, through the left, along the back straight he will go. And this Libre Saloon Championship here at Kirkistown always gets a nice varied entry. Lots of BMWs, of course, because BMW do make a good saloon, but it's good to see that we're getting the Honda Civics and whatnot on into the field. So 10 of the BMWs here this weekend, in fact. It's one of the biggest grids we've had for the tin tops though in quite a while actually here at Kirkistown. On board with Richard O'Mahony in his SHP, heading through the first corner down towards the right hander at Colonial, and around him goes the race leader Andrew Armstrong. That was close. So yes, Richard O'Mahony in his BMW, excuse me, not the SHP. Richie O'Mahony is at the wheel of the orange 116 car, running still in second place. It's the orange BMW that's just been put a lap down. The 330i class, by the way, as I said, not yet official, but they are hoping to make it official in the future if we get a few more of them. Powerful M3s and Hondas, of course, always do tend to get themselves to the front of the field, and the cars running in the supercars class, including those SHPs, they are the usual pace setters, but it is nice to see we're getting a few more of the 330i's, because it would make a really good race series, wouldn't it, to get a field full of those out on circuit. Time being, they are simply racing for fun, and it has been where some of the closest racing has been, certainly as far as Andrew Armstrong's been concerned. He didn't have this all his own way. They made it hard for himself with a bad start, of course, but he's sort of continued serenely on his way. There is Francis Allen in his C46 estate car. Always a big fuss made about estate saloon car. That's a contradiction in terms, isn't it? But estate cars racing in saloon championships, and of course we saw Volvo do it, and latterly Honda and Subaru in the British British touring cars. BMW never did. C46 would have made a good touring car, I think, wouldn't it? And Francis Allen demonstrating so in this race. So there is the race leader. It's always a good chance, this shot down the back straight, to see just how far ahead the race leader is, and you can see that by the time Andrew Armstrong turns into the hairpin, the second place battle between Richie O'Mahony and Tony Traub hasn't even appeared into sight. I can tell you though that behind the leader, Richie O'Mahony, is now starting to pull out a bit more of a lead as we go on to the final lap now. Last lap board is held aloft, and it's getting on now for a 35-second lead that Armstrong has built up. His fastest lap in this race, 1 minute 3.2, significantly quicker. It's about 3 seconds quicker than anyone else has managed, actually, even than the likes of Ralph Jess managed earlier on. So it really has been pure dominance here for Andrew Armstrong, and as he makes his way now into the John Crossley chicane for the final time in this Libre Saloons race, he looks almost set now to take home the victory. There, turning into the hairpin for what would be the penultimate time, is the number 5 car Dermot Nolan. He's now made that position over Francis Allen fairly secure, hasn't he? Into the hairpin for the final time though, and Andrew Armstrong is going to come home to take the victory in race number 1 here at Kirkistown for the Libre Saloons. It is a BMW that wins. That perhaps is not necessarily a surprise, but Andrew Armstrong, after the bad start, fought his way back beautifully, and he will take the checkered flag. Andrew Armstrong wins race 1 of the weekend here at Kirkistown. Second place should be Richie O'Mahony, but it is a long wait for the second place car to appear. That is Richard O'Mahony in his orange BMW. That is one of the 330i's, so still we wait officially 36.8 seconds for Richie O'Mahony in second place. Tony Traub was third, Donald O'Neill in his Seat held on to fourth, ahead of Dermot Nolan fifth, Francis Allen sixth, then a lap down with Richard O'Mahony, Paul Sheridan, Greer Ray, Roy Orr, and Keith Ray, the last finisher, in 11th, was 2 laps down from the race leader.